Welcome, welcome. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your patience as we got settled this evening. We are so excited that you all are here. And now we are going to begin our program for this evening. So welcome to the 36th annual 4-H Public Speaking Countywide Competition. My name is Karen Henry, and I am your University of Florida IFAS Extension Seminole County 4-H Youth Development Agent. 4-H collaborates with schools, community organizations, and volunteers to deliver research-based educational programs to Seminole County youth. Extension programming is made possible through county, state, and federal funding from Seminole County government, the University of Florida, and the United States Department of Agriculture. The Florida 4-H Public Speaking Program is just one of our Seminole County 4-H school enrichment programs, where we annually have between 3,000 and 4,000 sixth grade students participate thanks to classroom teachers dedicating their time and energy into sharing the skills and fun of public speaking. The program this year was made possible through support from Florida 4-H Foundation, Seminole County government, and the University of Florida, who support the cost of materials and awards for our program participants. In addition to this program, we offer other school enrichment programs, including Living on My Own, which is a financial management situation, Healthy Hands, which teaches hand washing and helps with the prevention of disease, and many others. At Seminole County Extension, we also serve adult audiences and educational programming in the areas of horticulture, Florida-friendly landscaping, health and nutrition, money management, sustainable agriculture, and food systems. Tonight, I invite you to sit back and enjoy our first place school winners as they present their speeches. They will be introducing themselves one by one and sharing a few words of thanks to their supporters who are here this evening. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Shelby Bushinger. I'm from the Masters Academy. I'd like to thank my mom, my dad for coming here tonight, and I would also like to give a huge shout out to my teacher, Mr. Orsini, who couldn't make it today, but I still want to thank her so much because she's such a good teacher to me.
Hello, my name is Emma Marl, and I am from Jackson Heights Middle School. I would like to thank my English language arts teacher, Mrs. Diaz, for helping me so much through the speech, and my parents, Lena and David Marl, for helping me.
Hi, I'm Noah Kaplan. I'm representing Lawton Charles Middle School. I'm here with my mum and dad and my teacher, Mrs. Bell. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Misha Sevchek. I go to Holy Cross Lutheran Academy, and my mom and dad are here, and my teacher, Mrs. Johnston, and I just want to thank her for picking me to represent my school.
My name is Matthew Cloutier, and I'm representing All Souls Catholic School. I want to thank my mom and dad for bringing me here, and my ELA teacher, Mr. Shuey, for helping me get here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carter Curian. I'm from Indian Trails Middle School. I want to thank my mom and my stepdad for being here, and my ELA teacher, Miss Cheshire.
Let's give our participants a round of applause. We have quite the group tonight. It is also my pleasure to introduce our judges this evening. Our first judge is Vice Chair Amy Lockhart, who has a background in marketing and sales and operated her own consulting business prior to working for the citizens of Seminole County as a member of the Board of County Commission staff. Her work with local government and solid working relationships with many different community groups equip her with a unique perspective in her various roles and responsibilities. Having previously served on the school board, Amy is passionate about ensuring students have balanced educational experiences that include real-world internships, technical education, and workforce programs that will ensure students graduate ready to enter college or the workforce. She has served in various leadership roles supporting the great work of organizations such as Seminole County Young Life, Sally Harrison Chapter of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, the Central Florida Zoo and Botanical Gardens, and the foundations for both Seminole State College and Seminole County Public School. In her spare time, she enjoys tending her kitchen garden, cooking, and researching genealogy. Our second judge is Mr. Josh Holder, who is the Public Communications Coordinator with Seminole County Government, serving with the Community Information Division to bring innovative and effective messaging about Seminole County's programs and services to both internal and external stakeholders. Josh and the CID team engage in a variety of methods to ensure that the public at all levels, including media relations, video content, creation with Seminole County Government Television, social media management, and event organization for public-facing programs. Josh's projects with Seminole County have encompassed a revival of the county's Citizen Academy program, participating with county's Veteran Appreciation Committee to host multiple events, and ongoing campaigns with Seminole County's Leisure Services Department, including Natural Choice of the Month social media campaign and a rotating column in Lake Mary Life Publishing's local magazine. Josh is a strong advocate for public service, encouraging everyone to get involved with their community in whatever way that they can. Our third judge is Mrs. Natalie Swanson. Mrs. Swanson is the program coordinator for Seminole County Natural Lands. She graduated from the University of Central Florida with a bachelor's in environmental studies and a master's in secondary biology education. Mrs. Swanson has worked both indoor and outdoor educational settings for 10 years. She worked as a Seminole County Public Schools middle school science teacher and ecology teacher, as well as a mudwalk instructor. She has also enjoyed many years of leading hikes, delivering educational programs, and promoting environmental stewardship. Let's give our judges a round of applause. We would also like to give a huge thank you to Seminole County Government TV, SGTV, for assisting with the setup and filming of our event. The competition will be available on DVD and live streaming. So before we get started, as a reminder, please silence your cell phones, and if you need to exit, please wait until between speeches. And now, let's begin the Florida 4-H Public Speaking County Competition. A round of applause for our participants again. And I would now like to introduce Shelby.
What do you think of when you hear the word autism? Do you think of people with severe disabilities? This is not always the case. Do you know what it's like for me? It affects my day-to-day life. For example, I always have trouble controlling my voice. Sometimes people think I'm yelling at them when I'm trying to explain something to them because my voice gets high. Another thing that's a challenge for me is school. I had to work extra hard to get good grades in some subjects like English and math. Even though I'm an A-B student, I had to work extra hard to maintain them. I have a learning plan and a scholarship for my needs. When I was younger, I had to have hours of occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, and counseling, which I still do today. Autism causes me to have anxiety disorder, or anxiety for short. Anxiety causes me to have panic attacks and consistent worrying. Anxiety is very hard to live with. Autism causes me to have sensory issues, which means I'm sensitive to certain things. For example, I hate seeing crumbs for no reason. I just think they look gross. Autism affects my emotions, and sometimes I find myself getting emotional over little things. Autism comes in all different levels, from not being able to make eye contact to not being able to speak. Autism affects an estimated 1 in 54 children. People with autism are doing more than ever because of research, therapies, and a lot of hard work. Some careers you may find us as are doctors, lawyers, bakers, computer experts, artists, pageant winners. These are just a few that I've read about. We are not disabled. We are just differently abled. God made us all differently, and people with autism have so many special gifts and have so much to offer if you're willing to see it. We just want friends and kindness like everyone else. So, if you meet someone with autism, will you reject them or will you support them? Will you look beyond our differences and see what we have to offer?
Thank you, Shelby. So for those of you who don't know, the University of Florida IFAS Extension Florida 4-H Youth Development Program uses a learn-by-doing approach to help youth gain skills and knowledge that they need to be responsible, productive citizens. This mission is accomplished by creating safe and inclusive environments involving caring adults and utilizing the expertise and resources of the University of Florida and the nationwide land-grant university system. Last year, Florida 4-H reached over 201,000 youth ages 5 to 18 through 4-H clubs, school enrichment programs, camping, school-age child care programs, and that was with the help of more than 12,000 volunteers trained by Extension and 4-H faculty statewide. The Florida 4-H Public Speaking Program is one example of a school enrichment program where a classroom teacher delivers 4-H curriculum in a classroom setting. Let's hear it again for our speakers. And now we would like to introduce Emma.
In May 2019, I had just turned 10 years old and had lived in Houston, Texas since I was 4. One day, we found out that we were moving to a small town in Ohio and leaving all that we knew behind. About a year later, in May 2020, we found out that we were moving again, this time to Florida. We would be moving twice in 1 year, 2 summers in a row. Moving was one of the hardest things I had to go through, and although it did affect me more than I would have thought, I'm grateful for it. We moved from Houston to St. Clairsville, Ohio. St. Clairsville is a small town with a population of 5,000 people. In Ohio, we made many adjustments to live there. We lived in a smaller house and went to an unfamiliar, smaller school. Our house in Ohio was not nearly as nice as our old one, almost 1,000 square feet smaller, a big basement full of bugs, a way smaller kitchen, and only 1 bathroom compared to the 4 we had in Houston. Moving is hard at first because you don't know anyone. it gets lonely. That was probably the worst part about moving for me. I didn't have anyone to really talk to besides my 3 crazy siblings, but it got better. I met my best friend Addie and finally felt confident about my new situation. On May 8th, 2020, we learned that we were moving yet again, this time to Florida. This was quite a shock to us and very unexpected. We now had to start the whole process over again, including leaving the good friends we had made in Ohio. While moving to other people might mean moving to a different town, or different house, or another part of the city, moving for me is different because we often don't stay in one state for very long. We lived in Canada until I was 4, Texas until I was 10, left Ohio when I was 11, and then we moved to Florida. We only stayed in Ohio for 11 months, not even a year, but moving can be very intimidating and brings experiences that are scary. Once you drive away from your house, you realize that you feel attached to your house and the memories you experienced there. The year I moved away from Texas, I didn't realize it at first, but I was a little scared. Moving is associated with scary and unpredictable things, but it made me stronger as a person, and it forced me to really come out of my shell. Relocating to a different state helped me a lot more than it would have if we had just stayed in Texas. Moving forced me to be open to new things, and because of it, I have a lot of really good friends. It got me out of the shell I was in, being nervous to give a chance to anyone new. Once again, moving is much more than just packing up and going. A lot of thought, effort, and emotions come out of it as well. Because of moving, I am now a little bit more outgoing and not afraid to just be me. These traits will benefit me very much in the future because now I am not as scared to move and I know what it feels like to be the new kid going to a different school.
Way to go, Emma. So for those of you who don't know, 4-H began around 1900 with the work of several people in different parts of the United States. The focal point of 4-H has been the idea of practical and hands-on learning, which came from a desire to make public school education more connected to rural life. Early programs tied both public and private resources together to benefit rural youth. During this time, researchers at agricultural experiment stations of the land-grant universities and the United States Department of Agriculture saw that adult farmers did not readily accept new agricultural discoveries, but educators found that youth would experiment with these new ideas and then share their experiences and successes with adults. So rural youth programs became a way to introduce new agricultural technology to adults. A.B. Graham started one of the youth programs in Clark County, Ohio in 1902, which is considered one of the births of the 4-H program in the United States. The first club was called the Tomato Club or the Corn Growing Club. Many 4-Hers started as corn clubs and tomato clubs. T.A. Dad Erickson of Douglas County, Minnesota, started local agricultural after-school clubs and fairs also in 1902. And in 1910, the clover pen was developed with an H on each leaf. By 1912, all of these clubs were called 4-H clubs. And the National 4-H organization was formed in 1914 when the United States Congress created the Cooperative Extension Service of the United States Department of Agriculture by the passage of the Smith-Lever Act. We are still going over 100 years later. We would like to now introduce our next speaker, Matthew.
My name is Matthew Cloutier, and my topic is baseball rituals. Almost every baseball player has a ritual of some type, like listening to Baby Shark before a game or hitting in batting cages for 20 minutes before a game. Mark Teixeira wore 2 different socks after his teammate's sock ended up in his locker. Without knowing, he wore his teammate's sock and one of his own. That game was one of his best games, so he stayed with the different socks. He didn't know because his teammate's sock was number 52 and his was number 25. Imagine wearing 2 different socks on televised TV. That's crazy. Here's a quote by Chadwick Boseman. I know that baseball players have rituals or habits that they develop, but sometimes it becomes somewhat superstitious if they get in a streak and want to do the same thing over and over again. My story about my ritual is kind of like how Mark Texeira ritual started. One day, in between baseball games, my mother gave me $20 because I was going to my friend's house after the second game and she had to go to a wedding. So I put the money in my back pocket and forgot about it after 20 minutes. I was starting pitcher and had no clue that the money was in my back pocket. I pitched 4 innings without giving up a run, and when I was walking back to the dugout, I felt something in my back pocket. It was $20. Because I pitched so well at game, I kept up with my ritual since then. Now before a game, I ask my parents for a random amount of money. Here are some wacky rituals just like mine. Some of my favorite rituals that Major League Baseball players use is when Barry Bonds hits a home run, he kisses his cross on his necklace. Roger Clemens touches Babe Ruth's statue before every home start. Reggie Jackson wore the same helmet every game, even after he switched teams. Reggie Jackson had to paint his helmet every time he switched teams. You're probably thinking these players are crazy, but do you know why they have rituals? I do. It gives you confidence. Rituals help your confidence. Most rituals can be just listening to your favorite song or hitting in batting cages for 20 minutes before a game. Rituals are different for everyone. Like mine works for me, but it may not work for you. Here's a quote by Kate Green. The preparation for the ritual is a ritual. You should make a ritual. It doesn't have to be for baseball. It could be for anything, and it gives you confidence. Find a perfect ritual for you.
Way to go, Matthew. So we often get the question, isn't 4-H for kids who live on a farm? The answer is no. 4-H is for all youth, whether they live on farms, in suburbs, or in cities. 4-H serves youth from all backgrounds and interests. It reaches both boys and girls through 4-H clubs, special interests, which we call SPIN, short-term projects, individual and family learning and mentoring, camping, and school-based programs. Most 4-H members are from towns and cities and participate in contemporary projects, many times based on a hobby, such as leadership, animals, plant science, public speaking, food preparation, performing arts, and more. 4-H offers membership to all young people ages 5 to 18 or grades kindergarten to 12. Youth that are in grades kindergarten through 2nd or ages 5 to 7 are Cloverbed members. These youth are in non-competitive learning experiences, and they usually do group experiences. Older 4-H members have special opportunities, such as serving on a county-wide 4-H council and participating at the district and state level. We would now like to introduce Noah.
This is a story about how my life got turned upside down. In 2016, my family moved from England to America. Fast forward to 2021, and here I am in middle school. In the past 5 years, I have learned a ton of differences and similarities between England and America, like places to visit, language, and food. England was an established country for many years before America was discovered. The founders copied city names. In England, there's a city named York, and in America, there's a state named New York. In both countries, English is the most commonly spoken language, but Americans changed it. In England, people call the space next to the road the pavement, but Americans changed it to know exactly where to walk to avoid being hit by cars, so they called it the sidewalk. I have a funny school story from when I started school in America. I completed a worksheet and my teacher asked me to put it in the bin. In England, a bin is a trash can. I told her, "You want me to throw it away?" Another language difference is eyeglasses. British people just call them glasses. Were Americans putting glasses on their legs and arms thinking it was going to help their eyesight? You Americans are so silly. Another point is places of interest. Buckingham Palace is the official home of Queen Elizabeth II. I visited the palace. To be honest, it was a bit smelly and full of old furniture, but the ice cream was really good. London is the capital city of England. The Houses of Parliament are where all the busy politicians work. They have a huge clock to keep them on time. It's called the Big Ben. Now let me tell you about food differences. I can't deny that American food isn't popular in England too. There's McDonald's, Fridays and KFC. But British people have more traditional foods like fish and chips, which are eaten on Friday evenings. And then on Sundays they have a roast dinner consisting of meat, potatoes and vegetables, topped with gravy. Yummy. England has the best sweet shops. Imagine Willy Wonka's factory. Sweets in help-yourself containers. Fill the whole store. And you have a bag to fill with your favourite sweets, or as you like to say, candy. England might be small with a population of just 50 million compared to 382 million people in America, but England is mighty, a world leader. Although the Atlantic Ocean separates these two awesome countries, fundamentally people eat the same thing and have interesting places to visit and speak the same language. If you already haven't put England on your bucket list, I recommend you do. Finally, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, which is what you say when you have nothing else to say.
Nice job, Noah. Did you all know that Florida 4-H is thankful to over 10,000 volunteers who provide positive youth development experiences to young people in safe and inclusive environments? Volunteers serve many roles in our program, from being 4-H club leaders to serving as a member of our 4-H advisory committee, the 4-H Association. 4-H Association members help set the direction of the 4-H program for Seminole County. Volunteers chaperone 4-H camp and other night events. There are even opportunities for volunteers interested in engaging on a short-term basis. In 4-H, we have 4-H spin clubs, which stands for special interest. These clubs meet 6 to 8 times in the year and usually center around a particular subject. We also have judging opportunities and special events. And now we'd like to introduce Misha.
There's no business like show business, also known as theater, has been around for a very long time. Have you ever wondered how acting in theater started and how it became worldwide? I love acting. It's been one of my passions for years. So I thought it would be good to talk about different genres of acting, different Broadway musicals, and different types of theaters. First, to begin, let's start off with genres. Genre stands for artistic composition. There's been so many different genres of acting through the years. One of the very first genres of acting were satire, tragedy, and comedy. But now, since acting has grown so much, our more modern-day genres are romance, family, action, and adventure. Next, I'm going to talk about different Broadway musicals. A musical is a movie or play in which dancing or singing plays an essential part. There's been so many different musicals through the decades of acting. Here are some musicals that were the very first ones, like South Pacific, which was made in 1958, Anything Goes, 1956, Showboat, 1951, West Side Story, 1961, and The Sound of Music, 1951.
Then, since musicals became such a big part in acting, people have made movies into Broadway musicals, like Hairspray, Mean Girls, Beetlejuice, Matilda, Legally Blonde, and much, much more. Next, then there's the most popular musicals that every show, every ticket was sold out, like Wicked, Cats, Chicago, my personal favorite, Hamilton, Into the Woods, and many, many, many more. Lastly, I'm going to talk about different types of theaters. A lot of people think there's only one type of theater, but there's a lot of different types of theaters. Back in the Roman days, they had one type of theater that could fit up to 6,000 people, and they used to call that an amphitheater. Now, since there's been so many musicals, there's been so many different types of stages. Here are some different types of theaters, like black boxes, open-air theaters, thrust theaters, profile theaters, and many, many more. In conclusion, acting has made history. A lot of people I know think acting's not that important. But if you really think about it, if we didn't have acting, we wouldn't have our favorite TV shows we love to watch. Acting has made me feel like I could express myself, and maybe it can make you feel the same way too.
Thanks, Misha. Many of the young people that are involved in 4-H do so through 4-H clubs. So what exactly are 4-H clubs? 4-H clubs are the foundation of the 4-H program. A club is a group of 5 or more youth guided by at least 2 adult volunteer leaders. A club can be any size, from a small group of kids from one neighborhood to a larger club consisting of youth from all over the county. Clubs can be community-based with a focus on a general project area or one that is more specific. So you may have a 4-H club with youth learning about the environment, clothing and textiles, and leadership, or you may have a 4-H club where all the youth in the club are learning about horses. Clubs may meet in a variety of different ways, such as during an after-school assembly or at a community center. Clubs also can meet for shorter periods of time. So what happens in a 4-H club, you ask? In addition to 4-H clubs focusing on a variety of projects and activities in an area of interest, 4-H club members also have opportunities such as building leadership skills by electing officers, conducting their own business meeting, working together on community service activities, meeting friends, and most importantly, having lots of fun. If you're interested in trying out a 4-H club, we have an opportunity this Wednesday, virtually, with our 4-H at-large club. The Seminole County at-large club is a countywide club that focuses on a different topic each month. And this club meets on Wednesday evenings during the school year once a month, September through May. This month's topic is leadership, if you'd like to join us. And now I'd like to introduce Carter.
Okay. This topic is really important to me. In the 6 months that I've been here, I've already had my fair share of annoying moments with the Wi-Fi. I should be able to look up the definition of a word or do research without sitting there for 20 minutes for it to load, just for it to not work at all. For example, in ELA, we sometimes look up definitions on our phones, but I can't find it in time because I get 1 bar or just no service at all. Also, why is it that the Wi-Fi works best in PE, like seriously the only class we can't even use it in? At least it works well in the lunchroom. I literally had to get a new phone because the old phone I was using can only use Wi-Fi, and the school Wi-Fi was so bad that nothing on it would even work. I think we should use our fundraising money towards improving the Wi-Fi. If you're to tell us that our next fundraiser were to go towards this cause, I will raise more money than just for some random fix like new curtains. If I were to run a poll on which Wi-Fi is worse, Indian Trails Middle School or McDonald's, I think majority would vote Indian Trails Middle School. And we all know how bad Mickey D's Wi-Fi is. I just feel like I should be able to pull up eCampus or Skyward without any problems. Also, for some reason, there are certain parts of rooms that have better connection than others. Why? And of course I understand, well, hundreds of people have to use the same Wi-Fi. But when I can't even pull up Clever or eCampus and the teachers need to pause the class because of the completely horrible Wi-Fi, that's a major issue. When teachers can't continue their lesson plan because of the completely horrible Wi-Fi, that shouldn't happen, and it's bad for the class. This can cause for a delay, and that little missing time can amount to a lot of missing knowledge. And that missing knowledge can amount to lower test scores, which makes the school look bad. And this all circles back to having horrible Wi-Fi. I will do everything, and I mean everything in my power to improve the Wi-Fi. If it means buying from the school store, I'll do it. If it means ridiculous amounts of fundraising, I'm on it. And even if it means buying candygrams, or I don't even know what they call it, I'll do it. I just feel like it needs to be fixed. And I feel like there's simple fixes that, quite frankly, I think is worth for fundraising for. To round it all out, I think the Wi-Fi being fixed has more benefits than cons.
Thank you, Carter. And a huge round of applause for all of our participants. Way to go, Shelby. Way to go, Emma. Way to go, Matthew. Way to go, Noah. Way to go, Misha. And way to go, Carter. There were almost 3,000 students that did this at the classroom level. So the fact that you guys are here is a big, big deal. Excellent job tonight. Excellent, excellent. So we are going to take a brief intermission while our judges finish tabulating, and then we will come back together and announce the award winners. So thank you all very much.
Oh, this kid looks a little tall for a sixth grader. Good evening. My name is Josh Holder. I'm a public communications coordinator for Seminole County government, and as you can probably guess, I'm batting for the home team tonight. So on behalf of my other two judges, Commissioner Lockhart and Natalie, I'm sorry, I just totally lost your name. We are so grateful to all of you, especially for our 6 students for being here tonight. It is an extremely difficult and unique challenge to speak in public. All 3 of us speak in public in different facets of our jobs professionally. We get paid to do it, which is weird, but it is not easy. Whether you're talking to 10 people or 100 people or 1 person in a setting like this, it is not easy. And the only way that you can get better at it is to practice. So you should all be extremely proud of yourselves for getting up here and doing it, because the only way forward is through. So seriously, you guys should all be very proud of yourselves. Okay, without further ado, what you all are waiting for, our winners. It was very close, very, very close. You all did excellent, excellent. So to give you guys a little bit of an insight into what we did, it's an equal breakdown between the content of the speech and the content of the speaker, so audience bond, articulation, things like that. So that's all I'll say to that. Let's get started. 3rd place, Matthew Coulter, Baseball Rituals. Congratulations.
Thank you.
2nd place, Emma Marl, Moving. And in 1st place, hailing from Indian Trails Middle School, the next junior senator from the state of Florida, Carter Kieran, School Wi-Fi. Congratulations to all our winners, and congratulations to everybody else who came out tonight. Thank you guys so much.
Don't move, because they want pictures.
Yeah, we're going to take some pictures.
Another round round of applause. Woo! Thank you guys for being here tonight. A huge shout out to our parents, our grown-ups, and our teachers. Thank you, thank you, thank you.